Did you know that over 220 million people cruise Zillow every month?
Oh my.
It's a lot. It's fair to say that I'm a real estate nerd. I love looking at houses and people's design stuff and like all those amazing personal choices that people make in their house, you know, the weird stuff. This confession, in fact, made me think of my personal Zillow addiction. I'm Laurie March, the project manager and problem solver here at True Home Confessions, and let's take a listen.
My mom and dad have been saving up to do a big remodel on our childhood house now that we're all in college. And when I was back home, she told me all about her plans, and they're adding a laundry room and a mud room. And that's really good because we do get a lot of snow, and a place to put boots and jackets and things like that will be really helpful. But she told me she's also creating an entire room for the dogs with a dog washing station and built-in kennels and even a dog door so the dogs can come and go. And there's even a window seat. They love their dogs so much they're more excited about the dog room than the other stuff they're fixing up. Is it crazy to put a dog room in a house? Like, what if the next people who buy the place are cat people?
As you may know, the True Home Confession Show asks, is friendly advice good advice? Lending her brains, beauty, and footwear to this episode is Laura Hayden. Laura, is it true that you're a physical therapist and a stand-up comic?
It is.
I feel like the physical therapy might help with all the standing up.
Yeah, I'm wearing shoes that I would never let my patients see me wearing, but I only wear them for you and for stage.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take my headphones off, and I cannot wait to hear what you think about this.
The gentleman should obviously be in radio. He has a fantastic voice. You've moved out of your house. I think your parents can do whatever they want. If they want to create a space for their dogs, clearly they care more about their dogs than you. They're spending your inheritance, creating a window seat for the pooches. But most people love their dogs that much, and I can't discredit the parents for doing that. Like I wouldn't do that because that's a lot of money. But you know what? You moved out of the house. If they want to, you know, I was afraid he was going to say there's going to be a stripper pole in the room. Like my mom's putting it in one of the. She took a a lap dance class because it's more fun than step aerobics, and she's decided to put in a pole. Like I was waiting for something really crazy.
Yeah.
Like dogs isn't really crazy, but I was waiting for really, really crazy.
Yeah.
And how many does she have a pack? How many dogs does she have? I have questions.
I did hear dogs plural.
Yeah.
A dog door so that the dogs can come and go. Built-in kennels. So like, this is substantial. Like, would you kill a bedroom in your house and do this if you had like a 3-bedroom house?
I know people that have created a bedroom for their boa constrictor or for like a lizard. And like, to me, real estate in California is too expensive to have a room for your boa constrictor or for a gigantic lizard. So
wait, what state was that in?
In this state.
No.
I have walked in. Well, you talk about having a Zillow addiction. My ex-husband was a real estate agent. Trust me, I've seen some crazy stuff. And the craziest, now we're on it, is facing toilets. His and her toilets facing. That's time that no one should share.
Ew.
So doggy room seems okay now, doesn't it?
I'm looking back and it says they're adding on a laundry room and a mud room. So this sounds like outside of, like, this is an add-on, which is kind of nice because maybe it's in the right spot and they can really do what they wanted, and maybe it's near the driveway, you know. So this could be good. It
could be. I think, the son is upset that he's losing inheritance. I don't know. Maybe they're converting his bedroom or something, or maybe that's why he's upset. If he's out of the house, let your parents do whatever they want.
I mean, he did say they love their dogs so much they're more excited about the dog room than the other stuff they're fixing up.
But exactly, what was the other stuff?
Maybe there was a pole. What do we know?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, if they're getting a new kitchen, I would be more excited about that. It sounds pretty actually inexpensive compared to all the things you could do real estate wise.
Laundry room and mud room. So like place for all your jackets.
Yeah.
And, I mean, actually a little practical.
Very practical.
With a door to the outside.
Yeah. What was this guy's name? I think we need to talk to him. I think he has issues with his parents.
I didn't get a name. We don't have a name on this one.
Okay.
People, these can be anonymous. So like people can choose to share or not,
Okay.
I feel like people give us fake names too when they give us a name.
Of course they do.
They're not like, hi, I'm Lori and I want to tell you all about the stuff going on at my house. I think they're like, I'm Shmari. It's not me.
And I live in Fuddlin Hills.
Yeah, exactly. Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not real. I actually feel like this is kind of selfless too. Like they're spending their money on a place for coats and jackets and dogs.
And,
I didn't hear that
and laundry.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not sure exactly why he's. I mean, I'm supposed to give some advice, but I don't. I'm I'm on team parents actually a little bit right now. Without more information, I think your parents are doing fine.
Yeah. And I guess if I come down to the very last line, he says, "Is it crazy to put a dog room into a house? Like, what if the next people who buy the place are cat people?" This is actually a fair question. If you put a major investment into your home for something specific, like kennels and like if people don't have dogs, if you ever need to sell your house,
I don't think that that's a big problem to undo as far as like if you go to sell your house. Like I'd have to see what the plans are for the dog room to see, like, is it permanent? I mean, again, under, your Zillow obsession. I know somebody put a gigantic train set into their backyard, like the whole backyard concreted in, like a whole train set. Now that is a problem. That's a hard sell. Trying to sell it later when the entire background is concreted train set.
Wow.
That's that I would have issues with.
I feel like the like dog shower is specific, but I guess you could wash your boots off in that if you ever wanted to, you know? And then
maybe the next guy comes in, he has, car equipment. And I know a guy that used to fix up cars. He'd take his stuff into the dishwasher. Now this guy, I know. Well, he was a bachelor. He had 2 when he got married. He put in 2 dishwashers, one for his car parts.
No.
Yes.
A dishwasher for the car parts.
So maybe, the next guy's a car guy and he can wash his car parts in the dog washing station.
I feel like my brain keeps yelling the R word, which is resale, right?
Yeah.
Like, which side of the resale argument do you fall? You own a home, yes?
I do.
Okay, so which side of the resale argument do you fall on? Like, live your life and then deal with it later, or try to make reasonable choices and aim for, like, if you ever needed to get out of your house and sell it, like
it's not hard to rip out a shower or something. Like this isn't like you didn't put pink brick on the outside of the house. Now that's gonna be a problem. You didn't, something that's like really hard, and maybe it is hard. Maybe like the plan, I don't understand the plans correctly.
Yeah.
But I don't think this is so hard to get rid of.
Okay.
I mean, I have a dog door in my house and I don't have a dog. But they're not, I could have it patched up, but I'm like, I just have it closed off and I'm not bothered by it.
Okay.
So.
Unbothered.
I'm unbothered. There is crazy stuff but that's not one of them to me.
Like, what is something that would stop you, in addition to the train in the backyard? What would stop
facing
you
toilets?
From buying?
The facing toilets would be like a big one.
It's disgusting.
Walked into some really weird houses, like houses that have, rooms that are closets. Like
an escape room or like a safe room?
A safe room, yeah. Like that's kind of crazy. There's a room that's like 3x3 with a lock on it. You're like, okay, what happened here? Yeah. Like, I don't like wasted space either. If it's cold and snowy, why wouldn't you want your dogs to have a nice place to be? It's just like, maybe she's going to get new furniture too, so she wants the dogs to have a room so they stay off her couch.
Oh, this is smart.
Yeah.
This is smart.
They're going to go to their dog room. Yeah. It's like a playroom for the kids.
I mean, I would put in like a heated floor. Then your dog can just like chill on that warm.
Yeah, they're never going to leave
leaving.
that. They're never leaving that.
Yeah. That is over investing.
Maybe if there was a heated floor.
Yeah. I kind of like it though.
The cats would like it too if the next people are cat people. He said maybe they're cat people.
True.
Cats are going to like a heated floor.
Very true. Okay, so back to our confessor. What's our best thought for him? We just tell him to mind his own business?
Let your parents have joy. This brings some happiness. Sorry, you're not going to get as much money in the will because they made a dog room.
Yeah, that feels really concise. I kind of feel like leaving a confession is a little bit like sitting in the front row of stand-up, Like, it's vulnerable. It's a vulnerable moment.
It is a vulnerable moment.
And like in stand-up, you just get wounded in the process. But unlike stand-up, we have an expert who's going to come along after us.
I can't wait to see what the expert has to say.
Yeah. I mean, boy, is she an expert too. Glenda Baker, luxury realtor from the East Coast. Wow. I think you would actually adore her. And
she'd probably say, make the dog room even bigger. Just, people love their dogs.
I cannot wait to hear what she says.
If they have a jet line, like they have an airline for dogs and horses, people are going to buy a house with has a dog room in it.
Yeah.
That's my theory.
Yeah. I can't wait to hear if she agrees with you. No,
Yeah.
it might be the first time that our friendly advice, although we've had some decent friendly advice so far, but yeah, this could be like a real marriage of ideas here.
Maybe.
Very possible.
I can't wait to find out.
Friends, I have a confession. We own a 1927 Spanish-style home, and when it rained, I used to have to run around the house with towels just to collect all the water that was pouring inside the windows. It was bananas. I waited for years to replace the old wood windows because I was afraid the new ones wouldn't match the authentic style of the home. When I finally couldn't take it anymore, I worked with Renewal by Andersen, and they put all of my nitpicky fears at ease. When I work with a brand, I'm big on real relationships. You're only going to hear from companies that I have vetted myself. I love working with Renewal by Andersen because the people are the best. I am not just saying that because I'm a brand ambassador. I truly love this company. If you need new windows and doors, here's a little offer. Buy one window or door and get one 40% off. Plus an additional $200 off your order if you buy 4 or more. And special financing is available. Are you in? Give Renewal by Andersen a call at 844-290-2458. Back to the show. All right, friends, next up, we're going to talk about that confession and explore that friendly advice from Laura Hayden with our expert. While I've got her, I have a few other questions too. Today, we're talking with Atlanta residential real estate broker, the most recognized face and voice in real estate video, Glenda Baker. Glenda, between TikTok and Instagram, over 1 million people follow you for your very direct Southern attitude about real estate.
I'm excited to be here with you, and I can't wait to talk about this confession.
We've already had some solid nonsense, so I think we could probably use a dose of no nonsense here at True Home Confessions.
And you know, it's funny because I actually have a client that has a dog room.
I love it.
It does have heated floors. It has a separate tub and shower. It has a grooming table. There are beds built in.
Oh my gosh.
It is amazing.
Wait, a grooming table? That's amazing. Yeah. I think we missed that in ours.
Well, this one also has a television. So they've got TV in there, and they've got, I mean, it's beautiful.
Wow. That is
They've
wild.
got 2 dogs. I'd like to live there.
Me too. By the way, our confessor called to share that his parents were planning a big remodel. He's off to college. This project includes customizations for this furry family member. And our confessor asks, is it crazy to put a dog room in a house? What do you say?
Well, you know, the thing about it is that probably when he lived there, he got to pick out his room and do whatever he wanted to do with his room. And now he's gone. Let his parents do whatever they want to do. So I would just say, let them have at it. If you've got enough money to do a dog room, he's not going to miss that in his inheritance.
That's right. Laura said, I was afraid he was going to say Mom was putting in a stripper pole. Doggy design, not so bad. She was also on Team Parents, it sounded like.
Yeah, I'm with the teen parents. And, you know, they may want to put a pole in. It's really good for, like, exercise and keeping people limber. I mean, you want your parents to live a long time, right?
We sure do. True Home Confessions ask Glenda, this is a big question. Is this friendly advice that we are taking? Did Laura get it right?
Laura got it right. She got it right all day, every day, and twice on Sunday.
All jokes aside, I feel like at the heart of this confession, it kind of sounded like our guy was worried that his parents were over-investing or over-personalizing their home. At a deeper level, it kind of sounded like a concern about real estate and money, right?
Yes, it did. But in all honesty, it's one room in the house. So it's not like they, you know, came in and did something that couldn't be changed back easily. Yeah, depending on where he is, the people may have a dog, and it may actually be an asset.
I feel like personalizing your home, sometimes people are really scared to do this. As we make choices, you know, there's this voice in the back of our head from television that tells you, you know, you're affecting your future resale value. It's like this insidious voice.
But you've got to live in the house and enjoy it. I mean, I don't want to live in my house based on the resale. My friend Tyler Whitman, who my co-host on Glitter and Gay, he painted his bedroom black.
Wow.
All the walls and the ceiling.
Woo.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's such a bold choice. It looks phenomenal. And he's enjoying it while he's living there. Can you imagine leaving it builder beige? He would have hated that.
Yeah. It's
So
sad.
I say this. I tell my people, don't think about resale on cosmetics. Think about resale on infrastructure.
Tell me more about that.
I painted my kids' room whatever color they wanted it. That is an easy fix. You want to put in some pink carpet, go right ahead. That's an easy fix. But when you talk about making structural changes, changing the shape of rooms, the exterior, that's when you probably want to take a deep breath and think twice. So, but everything else, anything can be changed. I wouldn't worry about it one single bit.
I love
And
it.
one man's trash is another man's treasure.
As you mentioned color and your kids' rooms, I feel like some colors are more polarizing than others in homes. Sometimes it's cultural, sometimes, it feels like gender-based, like sometimes people just despise pink, right? Do you feel like there are some colors that are more polarizing than others, in your opinion, in real estate?
Anytime that you get into like a red is always, it doesn't shoot well in photos. It stands out. People either love it or hate it. But come on, how many years have we been looking at gray? I'm so tired of looking at gray. Like, give me a break. So I love to see a little bit of personality. I showed a house the other day, and it had a tiki bar in the house. And the agent, their listing agent, said, you need to take that out. And she was right, because the likelihood that somebody wanted a tiki bar, probably not so much.
Yep. I also was thinking about, in that same vein, when you customize your house, there's a couple different ways you can customize it. It can be design and style, but it also can be sort of hobbies, interests, and desires, right? Like something that you did for a gym or a yoga space or a workout room might appeal to more people than something like a tiki bar, which is for a hobby of drinking, and also a very specific version of drinking, right? So, like, are there some customizations that appeal to more people than others?
Oh, absolutely. And you think about it, is it a house where people are going to entertain? Do you have a built-in bar? How does it walk out? Where is the swimming pool? There are lots of things that people do to customize their home that really are an asset. But the majority of times when you talk about customization and making it distinct, that's kind of where you turn left and go the wrong way. And that's the thing that people don't understand is like anything you can change. You don't like it, do whatever you want to do with it. And the thing about it is that if you're looking at a home that's really distinct, it has some crazy things in it, think about probably the deal you can get on that house.
Okay. So, as a buyer, a house that's weird is good for you. But if we're back to our
100%.
Yeah. Back to our confessor and his mom, potentially down the road, they would be the seller of this house. So it sounds like if our buyer is making out because stuff is weird, our seller is potentially losing out because the house is weirder than a comparable one.
But think if you marketed it to the kennel club, people that were members of the kennel club in that area, do you think that dog room is an asset or a liability?
So just spinning the way you're thinking about your marketing for this listing or outreach or whatever you're up to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's your buyer avatar? And that's the thing that's really interesting.
I mean, people can really customize anything, though. So I was nerding out on this and really thinking through, aside from built-in bars, wine cellars, movie rooms are a big thing for a lot of people. And, I've even seen like bowling alley or other specific gaming rooms, feel like pool table room is pretty common. Bowling alley feels a little more like you're lighting money on fire because you've got a lot of money. I don't know. Am I wrong?
Well, my neighbor has a racquetball court. And
Inside?
I showed a house that had a gun range, a basketball court,
Yeah.
lots of very interesting, specific rooms. But I had one guy, and I never will forget this. He had a Starry Night ceiling in the media room, and it had 7,000 fiber optic lights stuck through it that him and his daughter did as a project. And so it had so much sentimental value to him, and it looked phenomenal in this movie room in a $400,000 house.
Wow. God, that's incredible. I've seen pictures of something like that, and I personally would be so impressed with that. And like that feels like nature. How could you be mad at the starry nights? If you don't like, you don't turn it on. They're little fiber optics. You would never see it. Like that feels like such a wonderful surprise for a future buyer.
And I showed a house that was a swinger house.
Oh boy. And how did you?
Yeah, it had a pole and a throne.
I was just about to ask, what exactly defines a swinger house?
It was crazy. I was like, he was running it as an Airbnb, and the numbers he was telling us about, I was like, there's no way. And then as we kind of went through the house, and there were like 35 beds
What?
in this 7-bedroom house, I was like,
That's a lot of beds.
and I turned around and I looked at him. I said, is this a swinger house?
And he said,
And it was the owner who was showing us through. And he told me, he goes, yes, we have parties.
oh my,
He was quite proud. Wow. He told me I could come and be his guest.
of course he did. You're a babe. I'm sure he was like, come on over, Glenda.
I was like, what the hell?
You're like, the price for selling your
we're in
house just
Canton,
went
Georgia.
up.
I mean, this is not even in downtown.
Wow.
It's not downtown. It's not Atlanta. We are like out in the suburbs in Canton.
Wow. And did you sell that house?
Do you know, I showed it to my clients. One was a CPA and the husband was a goat herder. And it was just too much for them. They couldn't get past the whole swinger thing.
Wait, so the CPA was married to a goat herder? I'm just checking on that one. Yep. That feels like a lot. Wow. Yeah.
See, and you thought Laura was really funny.
Glenda, be careful. We're going to have you come back as our comedian for the next round. I keep coming back to our fellow who called in. And, I feel like at the heart of it, we were talking about a personal choice for your home, right? And I think you mentioned something that really struck me. You said that sometimes a personal choice can actually make your home more valuable.
Well, I mean, think about it. All the rage right now is the man cave and having that like poker room or cigar room. And, years ago, you never ever would have thought that would have been an asset. Today, that's a huge asset. Think about indoor to outdoor living and people who do very, distinct outdoor spaces. They do living rooms outside. Those are assets now. So just because it's, not mainstream, don't think that it's not something that's going to be an asset.
A unique or a well-designed home could lose a few buyers here and there, but to the right people, it could be speaking their language.
100%. And knowing who the most likely buyer is for that product is really the key when you're dealing with something that's super distinctive. I mean,
that makes sense.
I had a house that hung over the freeway and the buyer was deaf. Perfect house for her.
Oh my God. Yep. Wow.
Yeah.
That makes so much sense.
No lie. The back deck hung over the interstate to the point that when the cars went by, you looked like Beyonce.
Oh my gosh.
And this agent calls me. She goes, I've got the perfect buyer for your listing. And I'm like, have you seen it? And she goes, yeah. And they bring us an offer. They do the inspection. And we get to closing, and I'll be damned if the lady's not deaf.
Wow. Okay. A butt for every seat. My goodness.
Absolutely.
I want to come back to the pet architecture stuff. When I was digging around looking into this, Americans spent an estimated $137 billion on their pets in 2022. So perhaps this sort of making our homes make more sense for our furry and winged and scaly family members is a hot thing more than we thought, right? I mean, that's a lot of money.
You know, there are some areas of California that have more dogs than children. And I think that what a lot of people don't realize is your kids are grown and gone. You're home by yourself. You're looking for a companion. And whether it's a dog, a cat, a bird, a snake, whatever, you treat that pet, it almost takes the place of a child or a best friend or a spouse. And so I just think that a lot of people are getting into rooms that are specific for their pets.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And really think about like my client who has these 2 big ass dogs. It's 1,000 times better to put them in their little room that's all tricked out for them than for them to like run through the house like wild animals and scratch the floors.
Sure. That's right.
So I could make an argument that these pet rooms are preserving the majority of the house.
Wow. Okay. Flip that one on its head. I love that. One thing I looked up too as I was digging, I kept bumping into this phrase, which gives me the giggles. Barkitecture. Architecture that is designed for dogs. 66% of U.S. households have a pet. Younger generations, like the millennials, 58% of them would prefer a pet to a kid. So, I mean, like, you know, coming out of this pandemic, everyone adopted pets. You know, anyone who can still afford a home after all these rising interest rates, customizing it for pets could be, you know, a simpler decision than we're thinking, maybe.
Well, think about it. Pets are a lot cheaper than children.
Yes, I have 2 dogs, and generally they are much cheaper than children. So I'm in that camp.
Yeah.
I do want to quickly talk about resale value with you. I know it can be a little bit of a sticking point for some people. We kind of started out on that in the beginning, but what would you say to someone who was really nervous about working on their home? Maybe somebody who isn't super confident in their own taste and design and wants to kind of stick a toe in the waters of being more edgy or, you know, reclaiming their home and making it more their own. What would you say to somebody like that?
I would say there is a difference in an improvement you make for your own enjoyment versus an improvement that you make to build the value of your home. And you need to understand before you do it which one you're doing. And so that's why I say if it's an improvement that you're making for your own enjoyment that you're going to enjoy while you live there, you're not looking for a return on your investment, that's one thing. But unless you're planning on going out feet first, you should always in the back of your mind think about resale value and the cost versus the benefit.
I love it. Unless we're planning on going out feet first, which frankly, some people are, you know. Some people are like, I'm going to be in this house.
Oh, I am. Yeah. I'm going out of my house feet first. My kids, they can deal with all of the personalizations that I've done, whether they tear it down, do whatever they want to do. I'm not worried about it. I'm going to enjoy the hell out of my house while I live here.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's juicy. Okay, I'm going to flip it on you and say, who should care the most about resale? Who would you sort of reach through this microphone and grab and shake and say, you should give a shit about resale?
The first-time home buyer. That is the person who needs to care about resale, because that person is going to take the profit, the equity, the appreciation from house one to either get them to house two or to get them into an investment property. Those people need to be concerned about resale value. But Jesus Christ, at 57, I don't give a shit about resale value. I just don't, because I know I'm here for the long haul.
Yep. What about anyone?
So, but if you're first time home buyer, definitely.
I love it. That is very good advice. What about someone who is considering moving in the next 2 years? Are they paying more attention to resale than somebody who knows they're going to be there for 10?
Well, your relocating buyer, your buyer who moves every 3 to 5 years, you want to definitely keep in mind what the resale is going to be and what improvements will help the value, because that 3 to 5 year mark, the market can go up and down. Over the long haul, if you're staying forever, at some point there's going to be a good market. But if you've got a limited amount of time, a limited window that you're there, definitely, keep it in mind. But again, enjoy your house while you live there.
Yeah, I love that. The other person I wanted to ask you about is people who are a little bit older, who are aging in place. Seniors. Should seniors be more sensitive to resale?
No, I would say that's the person who needs to be least concerned about resale, because they've probably been in their house forever. They've got more stuff than they could ever get rid of. And they're literally, Bobby and Susie, their kids are going to have to worry about that when they either go to assisted living or go to the funeral home.
I love it. Laura mentioned she had seen some things through her ex-husband, the real estate agent: a dishwasher for car parts, a 3x3 safe room, and toilets that face each other. I would be 100% disgusted by toilets that face each other. I would absolutely not buy that house just for that. Thoughts?
I just want to know, who is the person that wants to sit on the toilet with their spouse? Like, who is that? Let's think through that.
Yeah, okay. Who, maybe somebody with IBS who is there all the time. And so
I don't want to know. What'd you say?
I was trying to figure out who would feel inspired to put a toilet across from another toilet, and not a bidet, like two toilets facing each other. And the only thing that came to mind was,
I just don't get that.
A person with IBS who's on the toilet all the time, and then they were like, hey, we're not having close time. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't want to have close time with you and your IBS.
I don't either. Yeah, maybe someone who's potty training and it's taking a really long time.
I got to tell you, you're going to have a hard time convincing me that the toilets facing each other are a necessity.
Yeah. It feels pretty gross to me. It just, period.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. It feels like a no to me. What about the gigantic train set and the concrete backyard? Thoughts on that one?
I mean, aren't they going to take it with them? Like, are they leaving the train set for the next conductor? I mean, that just doesn't even make sense to me.
Yeah. That would
And
be.
those train people, they're really possessive of their stuff.
Have you ever worked with a train person before? Somebody who had train sets and stuff?
I did. He had an entire room in his basement with all of his model trains. And I thought it was ridiculous.
But it sounds.
He took them. He wasn't going to leave them. Those were his prized possessions.
Yeah. Maybe that guy is the buyer for the train set backyard house.
Maybe. But that guy, he's going out feet first out of his house too.
We're coming to the end of this. Here we are. Our confessor called in because he was worried about his mom's dog room. what would you say to him? If you do nothing else, this is how he should move forward in this moment.
Embrace the fact that his parents are occupied and excited about something, because it's much better to have them excited and doing something that they love rather than sitting over there and just aging and just in the dark. That's something that they're passionate about, something that they love with their little dog. Praise the Lord and pass the money. Don't get whacked out about it.
All right, so to our confessor, Laura says, let your parents have joy. Glenda says, be glad that they're doing something and staying busy. And I would say, if you ask me, I think it's okay to check in on your family members when they're making big decisions if you have real concerns. But sometimes living for what other people think makes sense doesn't make sense. And resale value can be a little bit of a dirty word if it's keeping you from living your own life, right?
100%.
All right. I want to thank everyone for listening and for all the ways that you can find Laura Hayden and Glenda Baker, as well as tons more information about everything we talked about. Hit the notes down below. If you thought this was funny or useful or humorously usefully funny, please share it with a friend. Thank you for spending time with us. Hit subscribe and let's do it again.